You weren't born here.
I'm from Washington, D.C., or outside of Washington, D.C.
I'm actually going to D.C. in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's going to be my first
I told you, I went to high school with that
that's
kid.
right. The guy that was in the documentary.
Yeah.
No one knows what we're talking about. It's totally fine. So you were born in D.C.?
I was born in Chicago. I grew up in Washington, D.C., or in Maryland, but right outside Washington, D.C. I left when I was 18, went to Arizona, flunked out of school. I didn't know what to do. I was looking at myself in the mirror like, you're a fucking loser. What are you going to do? It was a kind of a turning point. Lucky enough, my father knew someone that worked at FIU Hospitality, and he got me into FIU Hospitality. I left Arizona with 9 credits and a 1.0 GPA, so I was on the way down.
Amazing.
So FIU actually did change my life. The thing that's funny about Miami in general and FIU is that people from Miami look at FIU one way, and I look at it a totally different way, because you guys look at it kind of like the stepbrother, the annoying stepbrother that's kind of there.
Such a general statement.
No, it's
guys.
true. Yeah, FIU doesn't get much love. Listen, I was at the FIU game.
I mean, I'm not like I don't have any feelings towards FIU.
You should. Well, either way, typically FIU doesn't get that much love. But it changed my life, because I went from being a total fuck up to, I can curse here or no?
Oh yeah,
come on.
Say all the
from being a total fuck up to actually caring, because I was taking accounting, but accounting for restaurants, or I was taking, whatever class it was towards how to open a restaurant or run a restaurant. So that was really life-changing for me. So yeah, FIU. Go Golden Panthers.
After FIU, what happened?
After FIU, I actually started working at Houston's. Yeah, I started at 21 years old, so I was there 11 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
11 years?
Yeah. I moved to New York.
I was going to say, you worked at the one in New York.
Yeah, I moved to New York, and I applied, and I didn't know anything about it, to be honest with you, and I got a job somewhere else, and they offered me like $8,000 more money. So I just went with them, not really knowing anything about that place, and 11 years later, I was still there.
So when you opened up Lokal, the first 12 months, how did that feel?
So, the first night I opened Lokal
First of all, but sorry to cut you off.
Tell me.
I'd have to say, and I need to say this, and I'm not stroking you because I really don't care to, but what I am going to say is you were one of the OGs of the Grove that brought actual good food to the Grove.
Thank you.
I mean, a lot of people talk about the Renaissance that Ariette brought. I mean, Lokal was way before that, and they were doing good food. There's a lot of fucking shit food here. So,
yeah, there's no question. When I opened up, listen, now there's I think 9 restaurants
on your street,
on my street, where when I was on just a half a street, really.
Yeah. Well, because the middle is empty.
And when I was there, I remember, I'll never forget this. It was a regular from my old job that was there and was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm opening a restaurant right there," and I pointed to Lokal, and he gave me a look of "You're gonna fail." He's like, "You're right next to the hood," and I'm like, okay. I didn't even know what to say.
Also across the street from $1 Million Homes, but whatever.
But I also just quit my job, put every dollar I had, and fucking my heart on the shelf for you to just be like, hey, you're gonna fail.
You're a moron.
People don't. The respect level I have for any entrepreneur in any business is so much higher than anybody else, because until you're in those shoes, you have no idea what that is. You have no idea. My
favorite was a guy that. We had when we opened Ariette, we had no functioning equipment. We had the cooking line, and then we had a small KitchenAid mixer, and that's where we're doing all of our bread for bread service, burger buns, the whole 9. He was like, you guys aren't gonna make it because you don't give people second rounds of free bread. And I'm like, you know what? Go fuck yourself. Get the fuck out. How do you...
The question is, did you really say that? Because I feel like you would actually say that.
No, I don't remember what I said in return. I met the guy again years later. And then I met him again years later after that. And he's actually a really nice guy.
Yeah.
But he just, he's...
they don't realize that your heart is on the shelf. That's the thing.
Well, he was just and I met him at a dinner, and I was wearing an Ariette hat. And he was like, oh, you work at Ariette? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, they don't give free second bread there. Surprised they're still open. And then I was like, I'm actually the owner. And he was like, oh.
Next time, just ask me.
And then actually, funny enough, a dinner I went to at Danny Surfer's restaurant, I sat next to the guy. And then we chopped it up. It was actually a very nice guy. We still don't give free second rounds of bread, though.
I don't give anything for free.
Nah, I'm aware.
The one.
No, sorry. So the guy, yeah. They don't understand. No one understands that mindset that you're this is it. This is all I got here.
Listen, it's the scariest thing in the fucking world.
Yeah.
If you fail, you're going backwards. You're going steps backwards, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, the first night we opened, I just took a shot of Jack Daniels, like, straight.
Attaboy.
And it didn't even feel, it was like I needed it. And I remember at one moment I just grabbed my wife and just started dancing because I was so, like, in La La Land of how scared I was.
Yeah.
And it was actually happening. And it's like, when you talk about your dream, you could talk about it for fucking 50 years. Oh, I'm going to open the best or do this. But when you're there, it's put up or shut up.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is. You can have the best fucking chef. You can be the best fucking this. You can be the best that.
Fail.
And honestly, the things I love talking about the most is the business side of why restaurants succeed and fail. Because what people don't realize is the least before you even start that matters. Not how good of a chef you are, not how good your recipe is, not how fucking blah, blah. It's that fucking lease is the most important
thing. You're a
thing.
deal guy. This is why we get along.
I don't even know, but I become one because it's so important in the success.
Yeah, but that's if you can broker yourself a good deal at the beginning, then you set yourself up for a better long term.
And by the way, I got lucky, and
me too. I'm with you. Like if area wasn't favorable, like year 2 when we were days away from closing, we would have closed.
Yeah, of course,
we would have closed. It wouldn't have been an option at that point. So, I remember talking about like the first day of opening this place. The night before, I obviously could not sleep, and I just set up the dining room by myself at like 3:30 in the morning, just like alone, moving tables around. There's nobody around, and I was like, what am I gonna do? Go home and sleep? Fuck out of here. And then the first day, the hood broke, so I had to wheel the wood grill out of the dining room while there was diners in there. It's just a mess, man.
Yeah.
And nobody gets it. And like, oh, you should have been better prepared, man. You know what?
No, the best is when they come in afterwards, like, oh, you should have an outlet
right
there, or something stupid. You're like, do you have any fucking decisions had to be made to even have an outlet fucking there? Like, oh, it's the worst.
It's like this morning, I was meeting with like some equipment guy because we're gonna redo the kitchen. And he's like, you should get yourself a nice fridge, like a nice big fridge. I'm like, let me ask you a question. That nice big fridge, how much that cost? He's like, yeah, they run anywhere with 12,000, 14,000. Exactly. So I should have got that 3 years ago and I had no fucking money.
Yeah.
And he's just like, well, yeah, you make a good point. Yeah, I'm just like, fuck out of
here,
man.
A lot of that shit's luck. I thought I was ready to open a restaurant 5 years into my corporate job.
Right.
And I ended up staying 11 because I wasn't ready, even though I thought I was ready. And I was ready to go into 3 different places that if I would have gone in at the time, I had parties like, hey, we're going to open up. And they would have failed. They would have 100% failed. I didn't have enough money. I didn't know what I was doing in the lease-wise. And no matter how good I would have been, it wouldn't have worked.